Well, the VSCCA was started almost 60 years ago, and I became a member, I guess, about 30 years ago. But in all candor, I've been a member all my life because my father was one of the founders.
I entered the club and I just love the folks. They're spectacular cars, and the racing is phenomenal. They're all gentlemen, and we really enjoy it.
I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and there was a certain community in the paddock. Everybody was very friendly, and I feel like VSCCA is the keeper of this flame.
It's the nature of the drivers. None of us are here to get a contract with Ferrari. It's gentlemanly.
The club also gives you an orientation, so you don't just fall into it. They go out and they put you out with slow cars and fast cars and make sure that you blend with their community. For the most part, everybody feels safe at these events.
I like to pick and choose and do a little bit of everything, but my very favorite is the hill climb.
This is the first time I ever did a hill climb. I came in the second best time at Hershey that year. I had a great time at that event.
VSCCA is a more folksy club than most of the clubs in the United States. It's just a nice group of low-keyed people.
We race to a very nice standard, but more importantly, when we pull into the paddock, I think the community that's built there is pretty deep.
I had a little instant. Everyone was there to help out, pitch in. Can't find a better group of people.
The sense of gratification of helping fellow racers is more than the sense of gratification of coming in first or second or third in the race.
You can't beat it. It's a gentleman's racing, or gentlewoman's racing. You don't have to worry about the aggressive, I'm going to cut you off and run you off the track. It's just, you run, you do your own thing.
We know there's our styles. We know that most of us are experienced and they're using their mirrors, and you just feel safer out there.
You know, kids who are in their mid-20s to folks who are in their mid-70s.
Very occasionally do you find somebody that shouldn't be out there, but most of these vintage drivers are very, very good, and some of them are hard to beat.
I've been a member ever since I emigrated here from England, which is almost 40 years ago, and it's a wonderful opportunity to reacquaint myself with the VSCCA, who is essentially an East Coast-centric club, and I'm their little West Coast member.
I was fortunate enough to become a member of the VSCCA in 1971, and I've been a member ever since. You walk down the paddock, you could be standing next to captains of industry or mechanics who work with their hands, and you can't tell the difference. Everyone is friendly with everyone else, whether they have fancy cars, $1 million cars, or $20,000 cars.
We're very fortunate to have some people that own some really exquisite cars like that 250 GTO, which is another car that's never been restored. It's perfectly preserved. Originally owned by John Surtees. The family that owns it has owned it, I think, since the early 60s. A phenomenal car, and you couldn't even put a dollar price on it.
Most of these cars are capable of being show cars, but they're not because the guys who own them like to drive them.
The fall finale for the VSCCA here at Lime Rock focuses on pre-work. Most of us have mechanical brakes. You can't enter quite as quickly. We slide a lot more. You have to trust each other, and I think a lot of that trust comes through because of what we're driving and the tight camaraderie. All of us have known each other for years. A new person comes in and he's instantly enveloped in the pre-war group.
What we do twice a year is we put on a driving event where we take them out on what are usually secondary roads through beautiful countryside.
If you have an old car, there's nothing more enjoyable to do with it than drive around other old cars and beautiful scenery. It's good for you, it's good for the car. It's great fun to be out on the road with other old cars.
When we set up the Nutmeg the first time, the rally master was Dick McGinnis, and he and his wife always did it in the VSCCA. We call it the rally master's car. Dickie'd had this car for 40 years. His doctor said, "Dick, you're not driving anymore." He called me, he said, "Do you want to take over the VSCCA?" The negotiation to buy the car took about 2 seconds.
There are some members here at the club that passed down their car, even the Lotus 7 to me. I'm now looking to do that to another young racer, because I think that that's the beauty of the club and the camaraderie of the club. It's not about the drivers, it's about the cars. Keeping them in the club and continuing to rotate them makes this whole journey really fantastic.
I race an MGA. It's a 1956 MGA. It's a blue, and it's pretty fast, and so am I.
It's the idea that we use the cars the way they were intended, we enjoy the competition, and at the end of the day, we're all friends. There's no trophies, there's no prizes. It's inner satisfaction that really drives the club.
The great thing about historic racing is that it's not the homogenized sport that you see today. Everything has got a sameness today. These cars have a certain character that makes them very, very special. And I think that's why their owners are so passionate about them.
It's really nice to see people, using these as they were intended on the track, and then having such a great community around it. The social events they do as well are fantastic. It's not really all about the racing, but the racing is a really neat thing.
Oh, everyone is fantastic.
All of us are about having a good time with our friends, whether we're out on the course or having dinner together.
But the biggest thing is to keep the cars alive. Keep them alive, because they have a lifeblood in them, and they like to be exercised. And we have a ball exercising them.
And we're all sort of ready to go race and keep this going. It's a worthy thing to keep going long into the future, I think.
God and the chief engineer put a motor in it for a reason. And the reason was so we could drive it.